Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. Crystal Palace 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0. I've literally just got in from Selhurst Park. It has been a very, very long day, and I can't believe that is the score, 3-0. Unbelievable. I've got three guests with me, three very special guests, Darren, Craig, and Alex, to talk and dissect the game. Where did it all go wrong? Darren, let's start with you. Initial thoughts on today's game?
I mean, it was amazing, wasn't it? You know, it was a game to savour. It was a game to remember, and I thank you for inviting me, Chris. So, thank you. I mean, what do we say? We had so many non-starters, you know, with the whole COVID thing, with Lo Celso and Romero and Sanchez. And then the injuries. I mean, it was, when I saw Skip in the team, I thought, well, that's some, you know, comfort, because I presumed that he was going to be out through injury. And then when Son wasn't on the bench, I thought, oh God. I mean, we set out very defensive. You know, the three midfielders are essentially all holding, aren't they? There's not a lot of. I just thought, I mean, why wouldn't you play Ndombele? Why wouldn't you just sort of swap Winks? I'm not Nuno, but why wouldn't you swap Winks for Ndombele? At least give us one creative option going forward. I mean, it was. We'll get into it, but I mean, I thought the start was just a little bit dubious. Why didn't he play Hill? You know, give him a. I don't know. It's awful. It wasn't good, Chris. It wasn't good.
Craig, let's come to you before we talk about team selection. And it's interesting because the few people I've spoke to in the car, you know, driving back, it's all about team selection. It always seems to be about team selection today. What did you make of the game?
Much the same as Darren. I think, you know, I messaged you, Christian. I was very defensive. Seemed very defensive there. Three players in the middle. That the creativity wasn't there. I just think it was a very, very odd selection of personnel, to be honest with you. Very odd from what we had available to us. I just thought we were setting up. We weren't setting up like a team that the top of the league. I know it's 3 games in, blah blah. You can say what you want, but if you want to achieve anything, just seen a bit of that Chelsea game before I come on here. You know that. You know that. I know they've got different players to us available, and you could argue they've got their first 11 there, but it's just it just didn't sit right with me, that midfield today. It just seemed all wrong. It just seemed all unbalanced, really. As you say, I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, I just thought it was wrong from the start, to be fair.
Alex, let's come to you. We've obviously got you back on because, as I said, you know, before we went on air, you know, Tottenham had won 3 out of 3 before today. When we spoke to you last week, you kind of brought a lot of us down to earth and said, no, this isn't all great. You know, we will lose games. And you know, give me your thoughts on today's game.
You'd be surprised to say that it wasn't that bad, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. I know why he set up with Winks, and I mean, everybody has a go at Winks, and I don't understand it. I knew straight away that Winks came on and was going to play, and then we was going to start saying, "Well, watch when he doesn't play well" and stuff like that. I think we actually did too badly. We had to play tight because of the players that we had available, and I see what he was trying to do. I can understand the creative thing because I was at Watford, and it's creatively we weren't very, very good. But the problem is that you've got 2 creative players that you can't rely on defensively, Ndombele and Gil. You can't rely on them. So I can understand why he didn't play them. I think we played actually not that badly, especially after we got sent off. I didn't think Crystal Palace were actually that great, to be honest with you. The only time they got great is after they got the penalty, which was a lucky penalty in my eyes, because it can be either or. And then, you know, Edmond came on and he scored. And to be honest, that was a makeshift defence because Dyer went off because he was injured. Tanganga got sent off, which I think was very unlucky, but he'll learn and he'll grow from that. So to be honest with you, I don't think it's that bad. I think it just sums up the whole thing with Tottenham, what I said before. I don't think I need to say anything really more that I said before from the last stream. So I think that's it, really. It just sums up really the whole thing for me. And that's it.
Alex, you say Crystal Palace weren't that great. In the first half, we hadn't even had a shot on target. They'd had 4 on target. They were creating chances. We didn't create anything in that first half.
Yeah, I understand that, but we were trying to keep it tight. But they weren't that. The chances that they were making, that weren't like really like gilt-edged chances to win the game. To be honest with you, and like I said, they were fighting for each other. There was a time when I think I can't remember who was there. It was in the box, and Ali made an absolute last-ditch challenge to get back and stop them from scoring. And I thought that just summed up the whole thing with Tottenham. I think, yes, they did collapse at the end of the game, but I think that shows that there's still a lot to do still, which I mentioned in the last stream. So I don't really know what to really else to say. I think Nuno's done well, like I said before on the last stream. I didn't criticise him completely. I just said that it's work in progress, which is what I said. And that's it, really. So I don't really know what everybody's really going on about, to be honest with you, but it's kind of predictable because everybody says about Winks and Davis and everything else. Really predictable because we know what everybody's going to say. So really, to be honest with you, that sums up what it's all about, really, for me. So that's it, really, for me.
Alex, just before I move on to Darren, am I right in thinking I'm just sort of sensing that you're not surprised by this result today?
Well, no, because haven't got the team, but we're going to have bumps in the road. That's why I said we're not a top 4 team, because we're not going to get the points that is required to get top 4. And we all know what the points is to get top 4. 73 points or 70 over for me. That's it. We're not going to do that. Simple as that. Okay, we haven't done it the last few years. We're not going to do it. Because we'll come into bumps in the road because the squad is still needs developing still. We're not going to get relegated because I think Nuno's got the fight. It's given the fight. You can see it today. There was times there that we're all trying to come together, especially after Dyer went off, which I do class as our leader at the back because he does talk a lot, you know, and there are question marks about who's the biggest leader. It's definitely not Romano or what is Mayo. Because I think he's more a tackler. Sanchez is not, so that's going to be a one. But you can see a little bit with Rodon, who did well when he came on. So and also who else did I had a go at last? Reguilon, he looked good as well. He did a last ditch challenge header off the line as well. So defensively, we're actually very, very good. I do understand the creative side of things, but I can understand why he was hesitant to bring in Ndombele and Gil, because you're sitting there thinking, okay, you can add the tactic wise, but defensively wise, are they going to defend back? I don't know. And there was a lot of times where, I mean, I think the right back, I can't remember his name now. The new debut, he did have a difficult game, but Emerson, he did have a difficult game, but that was predictable because he's only just come in and he had no choice. And it just sums up the fact that Doherty can't even get in the team, which I do agree with, that Doherty's he's just not there for me, as far as I'm concerned. I don't see it I don't think it's going to work out with him, in my opinion.
I will come back to you on some of those points because I think it's interesting how you couldn't find any positives when we'd won 3 out of 3, but you find a lot of positives from a 3-0 defeat today. But I will come back to you on those. Darren, let's come to you. Now, of course, the starting lineup come out an hour before kickoff. Hugo Lloris, Emerson Royale, as Alex said there, made his debut today. Tanganga, Dyer and Reguilon. In midfield, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Oliver Skip, Harry Winks, Dele Alli, and up front, Harry Kane and Lucas Moura. Now, you touched on talking about some players that weren't featuring. Heung-min Son, no Steven Bergwijn today, no Davinson Sanchez. Of course, Christian Romero not there either. When you saw that starting 11, were you confident that Tottenham would get the 3 points today? Honestly.
I just thought it was very defense-minded, Chris. And I mean, and you know, you can always argue that when you're playing a team away, you know, in certain respects, you need to be minded that they're at home. Any team is going to be on the front foot. So I sort of get that. But it's like I said before, there was no creativity. Our 3 in front of the and I didn't really have a problem with our defence. You know, Emerson, you know, give him his debut, fine. Dyer and oh, for God's sake,
Tanganga.
Thank you very much. Tanganga and Reguilon, you know, fine. I didn't have a problem with our defence. I thought it was solid. The three midfielders in front of them, I just thought they were very defensive. And I thought, well, where's the creativity? Where's the, you know, the guy that's going to spray the balls and look for those long passes? And that was evident by the fact that we saw Emerson get forward and call for the ball, you know, in a space all on his own, and both Skip and Winks were just happy to sort of knock it sideways. And you just think someone needs to have that vision. And Ndombele, you know, needed to, you know, you need to have a player that's going to bomb forward and look for that creativity. As much as I love Mora, and this may be a controversial statement, I don't know. As much as I love him, and I thought that he was the most attacking and flair player that we had today. That run that he did to start off was unbelievable. His feet were incredible. He does seem to run into blind alleys. And what I mean is that he's great-footed. He's unbelievable beating players and going forward, but he bang, and he'll win at a free kick. I think his out ball needs working on. I don't know whether you agree with that or disagree, but he seems to unbelievably bamboozle players and beat players, but he'll run into an alley. And I just think that we were lacking that. And I think that Delhi has now adopted quite a defensive position. And Kane likes to sit back as well, quite deep. So where is that out and out striker? If you've got Son and Kane, you've got that interchanging. You know, one comes forward, one goes deep, one sits back, and you've got that movement. But they didn't seem that movement today. They didn't seem that. We look like with Kane playing back. What was the stat today about he had one touch in their half all match or something stupid like that? There was no forward momentum today, and I thought maybe Nuno had the opportunity to make a decision. You know, when we went a goal down, he could have made a decision. He could have brought Hill on. He could have brought on Ndombele. He didn't, and I just think there was no purpose today, and that's the worry for me. There was no okay, we're going to change things up, we're going to swap it, we're going to add creative players to get that impetus going forward. It all seemed quite deep to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I completely agree that Lucas Moura was definitely our best player, but one shot on target, Darren, in the whole game. And I tell you what, this might upset a lot of people, but I was saying to my dad in the car on the way home that it reminded me today's performance reminded me of a performance under Jose Mourinho. And you kind of think, what's really changed? Do you agree?
Today, and listen, you know, as when you're watching BT Sport and you listen to Crouchy and their analysis, you know, you could argue, and sort of Alex alluded to it in a certain respects, that let's just chalk it off as an anomaly. We're going to have those games, and let's just move forward, get all our players back, get the get our Son back, get Bergwijn back, get our defenders back, and let's just put it to bed.
The thing is, Darren, the thing is, when we were looking for a new manager, it was all about somebody who's going to play free-flowing, attacking football. That was not what we saw today.
It wasn't, and you'd have to ask Nuno why he didn't make those substitutions. You know, you'd have to ask him, why didn't you bring Ndombele on? Why didn't you bring? We've only seen, am I correct, Brian Hill once in the Europa Conference League, but his movement looks good. He was always trying to find those spaces, trying to find those. He was a nuisance, you know, trying to find those pockets and want the ball, and we didn't see that today. I thought the movement off the ball was quite static, and it was frustrating to watch. And if you're Harry Kane, and if you're a forward, it would have been quite a frustrating game to play in, because there was no movement. It was all so static and so deep. There was no pinging balls. There was no defense splitting passes. There was none of it. It was so pedestrian. And I've got to say, you know, and the stats probably bear me out. I'm not a stat man, but we didn't look like we were going to score today.
No. It's we had 2 shots the whole game, 1 on target, 38% possession. Craig, let's come to you. What did you make of the team lineup when it came out? I know you've already spoken about the 3 midfielders, but was Nuno Espirito Santo right not to put Tanguy Ndombele in the team? Because of course he's not featured at all for Spurs so far this season. I know obviously we've got Heung-min Son, Sanchez, Romero, and Bergwijn out. What if you were Nuno Espirito Santo today? What would you have done differently?
I don't think I'd have played 3 defensive midfielders. To be honest with you, like Darren said, I was reasonably happy with the defence. I'm not really sure what else we could have done there in the defence. And Reguilon, Dyer, Tanganga, and Emerson Royale getting his debut. I thought he's a bit shaky starting off. I didn't think he did too badly, to be honest. I've seen worse debuts. But just having Skip and Winks and Højbjerg in the middle there, it just wasn't going to work for me. I could see it from almost minute 1. And again, just going back to what Darren said, there was no creativity there. How many times have I come on here and other people have said we're crying out for an Eriksen? We've never replaced an Eriksen. It showed desperately how much we need a creative player or 2 in that squad, because 2 or 3 times today, and they highlighted it on BT in the commentary. I don't think you'd have seen, Chris, but Skip, I think, it was Winks, beg your pardon. There was a crossfield ball twice. He should have pinged it across to Emerson, and he could have easy. It wasn't an easy ball, but a professional footballer should be able to make that ball. He had his head up. He saw the option, and he didn't go for it, and he just played the sideways pass. It was infuriating. It was probably you was probably right in line with it, Chris, where the away fans were. You probably saw it yourself a couple of times. And it was the creativity that done us. And Harry Kane just didn't seem at the races today as well, which was unusual. But but as for the lineup, the attack was okay. I was quite pleased to see Dele Alli pushed a bit further up the pitch. I thought that would work. But for me, it was just that middle section. There was no cohesion between the front and the defence. And that's where it went wrong today, in the middle of the park.
Would you have played Ndombele then, Craig?
No, I wouldn't have necessarily played him from the start, because everything you've been hearing, he wants to get back into the team. He wants to work hard, but I'm not sure he'd earned the right to start today. Personally, I'd have put Bryan Hill in there, but I would have 100% bought Ndombele on. I know the injury to Dyer probably scuppered his plans, but I saw Ali Gold tweeted twice that Bryan Hill was supposed to be coming on twice, and then something went wrong. Well, personally for me, we were in the crap at that point, and we needed goals, and he still didn't bring Bryan Hill on. I don't understand that. And to not bring Ndombele on when you need a bit of creativity in the second half was very strange for me. And I think Nuno got it wrong today.
Alex, let's come to you. Did Nuno get the team selection wrong?
No, he didn't get it wrong. He didn't get it wrong. I don't understand what people are talking about. You put a creative midfield, you put Gil or Ndombele in that team, right? He us down to 10 men, right? Then you've got trouble, and then it would have been even worse, especially with Edmund, who we weren't used to him either. So I just don't understand where. Yes, there is a problem creatively. I'm not going to repeat myself again because I'm just repeating myself there, but that's clear. But the point is, the players that we've got that are creative cannot defend, and that was the problem. So to me, and also we had a sending off as well, so we had to try and restructure the team to try and get something out of the game. But I thought we were doing actually not too bad after the penalty, until after the penalty. For me, that's when then Edmund came on, and then we weren't really used to him coming, him playing, and he just kind of surprised us, especially with the restructuring of the defence as well. So for me, yeah, if you had someone that was creative and was willing to defend as well,
but you need a goal. But Alex, you need a goal though, and the goal's got.
You do need the goal, but we had the sending off though, mate. We had 10 men. We had 10 men. So the thing is, if you have somebody who's creative, who doesn't defend back, you make the result even worse because and that was it really. You saw what happened with Edison and what was going on with Saha.
Yeah, but we lost 3-0, Alex. We lost 3-0, Alex. How much worse could it get?
Yeah, but it was,
how much worse could it get?
We lost 3-0 because weren't used to, because the defense was already restructured already. So I don't understand what everybody's going on about. And
you got to get back into the game, Alex.
Yeah, we need to get back into the game. That's taking a risk, then, isn't it? Then, so it could have been even worse.
That's football. That's football.
Well, so that's making it even worse. That's making it even worse. So I don't understand what people are going on about.
No, I'd rather lose 5-0 trying to win than 3-0 trying to protect the 3-0. Wouldn't you?
So
giving it a go.
But that means then, right? So you're saying that you're really kind of saying that goal difference. Then you're writing that off. Then basically, if you want to lose 5-0, then
yeah. But Alex, we never
pretty much at the moment, yeah.
We never look like scoring. We never look like scoring for the whole 90 minutes. We had one shot on target.
But it was a tight game against Crystal Palace, though. That's the whole point. It's about grinding out the result. We're not going to make loads of chances against Crystal Palace, aren't we? It's a tight game. That's the point. There was little margin for error. That was the point of the whole thing. So
yeah, but Alex, I think everyone's point is that there was no shot on target whatsoever in the first half.
Yeah, you can go through that statistic all day long, and I understand where people's criticism of that is completely valid there. But my point is that it was a tight game. They wanted to grind out the game. Okay, we were already left with loads of people. I've already seen a comment now about Davis and Winks. Oh, that's number one now. Let me count how many times we're going to say Davis and Winks in the stream. You know what I mean? It's going to be an absolute joke, isn't it? But anyway, thank you for your super chat, though, mate. So yeah, but like I said, it's like he wanted to keep it tight. Okay, and like I said, with those two players that he's got at his disposal, Ndombele and Gill, they do not defend back. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, it's a risk. Okay, so if for one area of the pitch, one player comes in attacking like Edmund and does Ndombele and he scores another goal and it makes it 5-0, 6-0. Okay, that risk was not really worth it, wasn't it? You know what I mean? So it makes 3-0 even worse, and 6-0. And then our goal difference is terrible as well. We were unlucky today. Yes,
we weren't. We were bloody awful today. We weren't unlucky.
We weren't bloody awful today. Defensively, we're not bloody awful today.
Alex, we were terrible today.
We weren't bloody awful defensively.
We lost 3-0. Seriously, no. I never did.
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I'm sorry.
Alex, how were we not bad? How were we not bad?
We weren't bad defensively.
We lost 3-0. We lost 3-0.
Yeah, but we lost 3-0 because the defence was absolutely shattered after the sending off, and we had to restructure the whole team. We had Davis, Rodon, Edison, and Reguilon in defence. That's not our back four, isn't it? That's not our back four, isn't it?
I don't think they performed necessarily badly. I think our problem was we couldn't score a goal. Like I said right at the top when Chris said, "What do you think about the formation?" I don't think our defence was necessarily. Yes, we had players out, and it wasn't our first choice defence, but I don't think it was a bad setup. I think our problem was that we couldn't score a goal, and the defence, as much as you want to choose to ignore the stats, that they speak for themselves. We could not get a goal, and we never looked like scoring. So at some point, okay, you go a goal down and you get a man sent off, and okay, I agree with you. You have to restructure your defence, and he brought Ben Davis on. Fair enough. You go a second goal down, surely you're thinking, well, the shit's hitting the fan here. We need to get a goal back. And so you have to bring someone on that's going to get us a goal or have the ability to create something in order to get us a goal. I don't understand.
Darren, sorry to interrupt you. What you're saying to me is then, right, you put like Gill on, right, for someone in midfield. So really then you're kind of really stuck. 10 men, okay, with 11 men, you've got Saha on the right. You've got now Edison, who's got loads of Edmund, who's got loads of confidence now because he's scored two goals already, one goal already. Okay, so then you're putting a big risk on you letting in more goals, right? Because the game's done. The game's done at 2-0 for me, unfortunately. The game's done, unfortunately. Okay, so what I'm saying is you're trying to keep it down, at least keep it down, right? Okay, rather than putting somebody on and then it makes the result even worse. Now, I can see what he's talking about. I'm not saying that it's not good to not have a strike on goal. That's not good. That's not good at all. But I did say, like I said in the last stream, that they're still getting used to each other and trying to get used to the whole play as a team. You see what I'm saying? We've already had somebody criticise saying that, what was Kane doing? Why is it always about Kane? Why are we talking about Kane when we should be talking about the whole squad, the whole team?
Do you know what, though? If you were Harry Kane in that team today, how frustrated would you have been with absolutely no service?
None.
You'd be frustrated, but I'm not being funny. You're part of the team. So I'm not really that bothered at the moment. I'm supposed to be thinking about my teammates at the moment. You see what I'm saying? That's the one problem with Tottenham. It's not Kane FC, it's Tottenham FC. You see what I'm saying? And this is the point. If we're going to say that we want to be a top 4 team, we want to be a Premier League champions in the future, a Champions League team in the future, we need to think like a team, a squad, not just one player. Because that's where we're not going to go. We're not going to get anywhere doing that. We are not going to get anywhere doing that.
I would say I agree with Alex to a degree about Kane. You know, it's not Kane FC. And I thought Harry had a really poor game today, but he did not get the service. Caveat that he did not get any service today, and it must have been frustrating for him. But in games where you have big players, and Harry is our big player, if you've got a Messi or Ronaldo, Lewandowski, whoever, they step up to the plate, and Harry didn't step up to the plate and drive the team forward. He's our captain outfield player, if that makes sense. Hugo's a captain, but Harry should be the captain for the outfield players. Didn't really drive us today. Didn't really get us. I did. Obviously, the camera weren't on him all the time. I didn't see him geeing the players up. He looked frustrated, but a bit disinterested today, if I'm honest, and a bit tired. Could have been a hangover from the international break. I don't know, but they all didn't seem at the races today, to be honest with you. And it's teams like Palace, with the greatest respect to Palace, if we want to make top 4, have any aspirations of getting top 4, we need to be turning teams like Palace over. And yes, Tanganga lost his head. It changed the game to a degree. But, you know, we shouldn't have even been in that situation. One shot on target in the first half is just not good enough. And this is not, like Chris said, it's not free-flowing attacking football. It wasn't like it. And if we're honest, although we've got 9 points, it wasn't like it the first 3 games either. But it was certainly better than today.
I think it shows today, sorry, Chris, how much we desperately missed Son and desperately missed a player like Bergwijn. You know, I mean, again, you know, we can use the word creative or whatever label you want to put it on it, but these attacking-minded players that have got, you know, like I said, it just all seems so deep today. And if you've got one of those two playing, I think the whole nature of our setup changes. The whole nature of our setup changes.
I think it seems deep, though, Darren, the fact that the honeymoon period is officially over for Nuno, isn't it? You know, it's just one manager of the month award.
There was no honeymoon period in the first place, to be honest with you.
Well, for some of us there was.
No, there's no honeymoon period in the first place because he knew what he was coming into. I think the thing is, it's quite interesting the statement that was made from Pratagy and Daniel Levy. They knew it was not going to be an easy season this season, just by the statement. By the statement that they made, it was not an easy season for us this season. And even Nuno, after the 3 wins, he was saying, "Yeah, it's great, but there's still things to improve." Yeah, and but he kept on saying, but
that's the rhetoric of a manager, though. That I mean,
whether it's a rhetoric or not, you can see, and it was always clear that he never ever gone over the top about these things. He never did.
No,
the only people that were going over the top was us as fans. That was it. You see, and we're all guilty of it. I was guilty of it in the past when I was younger. Now I'm not, because I can, you know, I'm more wiser to how it works. You know what I mean? So for me, you know, I'm sorry, I don't agree with some of the criticisms. I do understand. and I don't want to. I'm repeating myself again. The creative thing, I do agree with because I've said it on the stream before. I've been at Watford. I've been at Manchester City, especially against Watford. It was clear we didn't have a creator. It's clear, but
we created chances in the Manchester City game, and we created chances in the Watford game, and we always looked like we wanted to score that second goal. Now, in the 2 away games in the Premier League, Alex, so far, Wolves winning 1-0. It was a smash and grab. We were very, very lucky to win that game. Fantastic win. You say grinding out results. We grinded out that result. Today, we just didn't look like we were going to score a goal at all. Are you worried the way that Nuno has set up in both of these Premier League away games? And going back to the same question that I'll ask you, were you happy with the starting 11 with Højbjerg, Skips and Winks in the team? Were you happy with it?
You would like someone that is creative, yes, but I could see what he was doing. If you want my opinion, no, I wanted somebody more creative, yes. But in the aspect of what the situation was and the team that we're playing, I could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to keep it tight because he knew it was going to be a very tight game against Crystal Palace. He knew exactly what they were going to try and do. They're going to just be hard at it, hard-working team, just trying to just grind it out, all out, not really play really well, really. Have the wingers as well with Zaha and just trying to occupy him. So they had to think about him as well. So it's just, I understand his logic of what he was trying to do. But I just don't think we should, I think, yeah, it was a 3-0. It's a 3-0. It's a 3-0. That's the thing at the end of the day. It's a 3-0. I think that's what's is making people angry, and the fact that we didn't have a shot on target. That's the problem. I think that's what people are angry about. But like I said it was going to be an up and down season, and that's why I'm not really surprised, to be honest with you. So, and it's no pleasure in me being right because I want Tottenham to do well. You know what I mean? I don't want to see us languishing like what I said in 10th, but it's going to be up and down season. So that's the way it is, unfortunately.
You're still saying that Tottenham will finish 10th this season?
I'll say 10th, around 7th to 10th. I'll say around that area. I don't think we're going to be top 6. We're not a top 6 team.
Can I just say in defense of Alex, Alex is right. That is a tactic that you can employ. You can set up defensively and try and hit teams on the break. So, I mean, I do understand what you're getting at, Alex, in respect of those 3 Winks, Skip, and Højbjerg. I do understand, and then you would want your wingers, your Emersons and your Reguilons to bomb forward. But when it clearly didn't work, the only reason I would agree to disagree, Alex, is that. And by the way, Mark Swift can go fuck himself because I'm not swearing. And so. Get that out of the way. But I do get your point, Alex. That is a tactic you can employ. But what I would say is that just creatively, there were no substitutions made that were going to alter the gameplay. So I do understand where you're coming from, but I just think fundamentally, when you go a goal down, okay, and you get a man sent off, then you want to shut up shop maybe. When you go 2 goals down, then you got to get one back. You've got to at least give yourself a chance, Alex.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I do agree with you there, but it was going to be difficult, unfortunately, Darren. The aspect. I think there was. It just wasn't our day today, and that was it. But I think that's the way it's going to be this season. I think, and that's it really. But I don't think we're going to have flow through. Oh, what was it? Free flowing football this season because I think it's growing. It's growing the team. I think you're going to see a lot more, and you see it right now with some of the young players that he's touted as well. I think you're going to see a lot of the young players becoming more prevalent in the team. I think because I think he's trying to grow them throughout the season. That's why I said it's going to be a very topsy-turvy first part of the season for me. You see, trying to try them in the Europa League, Europa Conference League, and try those sort of things as well. So I don't think I think he's trying to grow a base first and then grow the attacking side of things, I think, and that's what he's trying to do. So I don't think people should expect a lot of free-flowing attacking football, because at the end of the day, he wants to keep the team tight and fighting for each other. And what I was seeing today, at least, was fight. It was fight, especially after the red card. I didn't think Crystal Palace were going to score. I did not think they were going to score. And then after they got the penalty, which again was dubious, I think, yeah, you get it. You sometimes don't get it. I think that's when, and then Emran came on. That's when it turned the game, unfortunately. And yeah, maybe you could make the decision, but that could have made the game even worse and made it 6-0. You don't know. So,
Alex,
yeah.
I tell you what, I don't know how you thought that Crystal Palace weren't going to score when they actually scored 3. They had 18 shots to Tottenham's 2 and 4 on target to Tottenham's 1. Darren, let's come to you. Now, the other day, Tottenham tweeted a short video clip of Harry Winks controlling the ball. And as soon as I saw that clip, I thought Harry Winks will be starting the game against Crystal Palace on Saturday. Now, Harry Winks and Ben Davies, they get so much grief. You know, I was at the game today hearing lots of people saying about Harry Winks passing sideways, and, you know, you go on social media, it's these two players quite often get all of the stick. What are your thoughts on Harry Winks and Ben Davies? Because, of course, Ben Davies is being blamed for the handball, obviously with the penalty, and Harry Winks is Harry Winks and just gets a lot of flack.
I mean, do you know what? I always like to give players a bit of the benefit of a doubt, and I always sort of, when someone hasn't been in the squad for a while or in the first team and they get an opportunity, I sort of get quite excited, actually. And when I saw his name on the team sheet, all right, I wouldn't necessarily wanted him there, but there was a part of me that thought, go on, you go out there and you prove yourself and you have the game of your life. And I genuinely wanted him to absolutely have a worldie today and to really show what he could do. And unfortunately, he just didn't do it. He was pedestrian. There were periods where I was watching him and he was like in no man's land, went missing. And it's not a case of I told you so, but I felt upset for him, you know, because he's Tottenham through and through. He wears his heart on his sleeve when he plays. He's a passionate player. And I just thought, oh, for God's sake, like, you're not really up to it. You're just not up to it. And that's, you know, and I hope I don't sound like an arsehole for saying that, but I genuinely wanted him to have a good game today, and I just don't think he cutted it. There were periods of the game where I was looking and I was just thinking, what are you doing? You're neither here, you don't know whether to shit or get off the pot. You're neither here nor there. And I don't know whether he knew or what his instructions were. And again, we've had the conversation before where there were balls which he could have played out to Emerson and maybe played a ball forward and he didn't do it. And I just thought, like, I don't know whether he's got a crisis of confidence or what, but I mean, what do you think, Chris? I mean, that's my take on him.
Well, Darren, do you think he's ever going to work for Harry Winks? Because, of course, he stayed at Spurs because he believes that he is good enough to challenge to get in this Premier League starting 11 at Spurs under Nuno. Do you think that the Spurs fans are ever going to be happy with Harry Winks' performances?
I mean, like I said, you know, today I genuinely wanted him to have a good game today and to really put the cat amongst the pigeons and to, you know, and you know, when someone, like I said, you know, proves themselves and has a great game, and I wanted that for Harry. I genuinely did, but I just didn't think he was up to it today. I just didn't. I thought he went missing. And I just thought it's all the sideways and the defensive rather than a head up and a bang forward. I mean, I'm not going to answer that question by saying, oh, no, I think he's done, because I'm not going to make that statement. That's not, I'm not going to do that. But maybe there comes to a point where you have to look at someone and you have to say, you know, you're just not up to the level that we as Spurs fans would want a central midfielder to be at.
Well, interesting you say that, because Anthony writes in the stream now, Harry Winks or Dave Mackay. They're a million miles apart, aren't they?
Well, yeah, quite. quite. I mean, it's and again, you know, we've had players at Spurs. Oh God, who's that guy that I really like that would run around like a blue ass? Højbjerg?
Yeah.
No, not Højbjerg.
Lewis Holtby.
Lewis Højbjerg, great. He would run around like a blue ass fly. You know, I mean, the effort, you could not, you know, 150% every game, but he just looked lost, you know, and unfortunately he didn't cut it as a Spurs player. I wanted the best for him, Lewis Højbjerg. I thought he would be a great player, but he just didn't have it in him, unfortunately. And you know, maybe the same with Harry Winks, bless him. Maybe he sort of flatters to deceive. You know, you can have the belief in the industry, but unfortunately, if you're not making it. I don't know. You're not making it.
Craig, let's come to you. Do you think a big difference today was the back four? Because of course, Eric Dyer went off. And of course, Davinson Sanchez wasn't there today because he's been on international duty. Craig, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I've just had a few issues. Go on, carry on, mate.
So, you know, some people would say that you know, that centre-back pairing has done exceptionally well in the past 3 games, of course, keeping 3 clean sheets. Now, when Hugo Lloris, I think it was in the 12th minute, Hugo Lloris threw a ball out to Eric Dyer. Didn't, you know, it was a... He threw it far too quickly. Eric Dyer didn't get there. Eventually, he did get there. Player caught him. He went down. Tried to play on. A couple of minutes later, he went off. Do you think that was a real turning point in the game?
Yeah, I think so. It looked like a dead leg to me. And they can obviously hurt, especially if it's deep muscle. So it was a turning point because getting Dyer. Having Dyer leaving the pitch, he has been playing well. You know, we've all criticised him, but I think he's played well this season. So,
and I must admit, I never thought that I would say, you know, Eric Dyer leaving the pitch was going to do us any harm, but I think it did today.
I think it did. I think he was the leader back there. I think as soon as Roden came up for him, didn't he?
Yeah.
I just think it was a very inexperienced back four. You know, you think Tanganga sees himself as a centre back. Thought he'd done okay, to be honest, till the sending off. But you know, he's been playing at right back. How Nuno uses him now is going to be interesting. He's going to be very interesting to see. But Dyer going off today made a big difference for me. But I still think it's it was the midfield that let us down today. The 3 defensive players. I don't think you can look past that. You know, it's all interconnected. The whole team, isn't it? It's got a gel, and it just didn't gel today. The creativity, which you know.
Do you know, we talk about goals. We talk about goals. Now, Carlos Vinicius obviously went back to his respective loan club, Benfica. 10 goals for us last season. Gareth Bale obviously gone back to Real Madrid, 16 goals. That's 26 goals, and we haven't replaced either of those 2 players. Of course, you take Heung-min Son out of the team as well, and then you're left with Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, Dele Alli. Where are these goals coming from, Craig? Where do you think these goals are coming from? Because if Harry Kane isn't scoring them, isn't getting the service, who else is scoring our goals?
That's the worry, isn't it? That's what we said before. That's what I've said about Bale going before. We haven't replaced his goals. It's a worry, quite frankly, that we didn't. We've said before we needed to get a striker in the window, and we didn't. And I worry about that because the first 3 games we've won 1-0. Yeah, it's great, but we just haven't been able to get more goals in those games when we've created the chances, but we just haven't put them away. I just think we've said before, Danny Ings. What a steal at 25 million. Why didn't we go in for him? You know, I would be shocked actually if we didn't go in for a striker in January, because I think we need to. We need. Perhaps he sees Sonny as another striker. Perhaps he's kind of pushing him forward. I mean, that's what Ronaldo started as a winger, didn't he? I know Sonny's 29 now. He's not just starting out, but you know, players change positions throughout their career. Can Sonny play up front? Would you rather have Sonny playing up front than somebody like a Vinicius? You know.
Well, when Harry got injured a couple of seasons back and was out for a few months, Sonny was banging him in for fun. So don't forget.
He was.
So,
he was indeed. Yeah, and you know, he can do that job. He can do that job, and you could argue that he's been doing that job better and better since he's learning the position more. So he's just a different type of forward than Harry Kane. He can't do some of the stuff Harry Kane does, but he's got that burst of pace to take him in behind. So, you know, perhaps that's how he sees him. But, you know, he's not going to be giving Dane Scarlett a massive run. I think that's quite clear. It might come on later in the season, but for me, we still need that second striker to play either alongside or push Harry Kane.
Alex, let's come to you. Now, Nuno, straight after the game, said we didn't create enough, we didn't have the ball enough, and we made mistakes. You know, these mistakes, you know, when we've spoken on videos like this in the last 18 months under Jose Mourinho, mistakes throughout the team. There are more mistakes today. What can Nuno Espirito Santo do to rectify all these mistakes keep happening?
Well, he just needs to work with the team, really, and just work with the squad and try and, you know, get an understanding. But that is going to take time. It's not a quick fix. Like I said in the last stream, it's not, you know, there's not really that much really else to say, really, than that. Yeah, that's it, really. And yeah, that just answers your question if it does. But I just wanted to go back to some of the stuff that was just mentioned. Darren, you mentioned about the whole thing about Moira. That it's a controversial thing saying about Moira. It's not, because everybody knows that Moira has a tendency to run forward and just has his head down and just runs forward. So that's not really controversial at all, to be honest with you. That's just a problem there. On your point on statistics, you just said something, Chris, on statistics. Us not having that much of the ball, and Crystal had loads of shots and stuff like that. I think they're overrated statistics sometimes, to be honest with you. From what I saw, I know that you at the match, but what I saw on the TV on my computer, I thought they didn't have that much of the play as far as I'm concerned. I thought they were very, very lucky. The referee was on their side a little bit. But, I mean, we don't want to blame the referee too much, but I'm not being
I agree. I thought the referee was very one-sided, but I tell you what, I thought Crystal Palace played extremely well today.
I don't think they were that great. I don't think they were that great at all, to be honest with you. I think they only scored the goal because the penalty, and like I said, Edmund came on and just surprised everybody as far as I'm concerned, and because our defence was restructured. That's it, really, for me. We need to get the best about all our players. That's quite simple. I think the criticism of Harry Winks that he needs to find this Hollywood ball and try and throw it over the top. Where was Højbjerg not doing it? Why was Skip not doing that? You know what I mean? It's not just Harry Winks we need to point out. We need to point out the three midfielders in that midfield. The whole thing with Bell, I'm sorry, and Bell never should have been here in the first place. As far as I'm concerned.
The point, Alex, was where are the goals going to be scored?
Yeah, well, the goals needs to be scored from some of the players that need to step up, and that's what I'm saying. That's why it's going to take time to get their confidence up. Unfortunately, Bergwijn's injured. He was starting to find his way forward a little bit, but it's now trying to get the best out of other players now, and that's why I'm saying that some of the young players are going to come forward and hopefully become prevalent in the side as well. But it's also some of the players that we currently got as well. So trying to get the best out of Winks this season, to get the best out of Skip this season. You see what I'm saying?
Alex, let me just ask you a question. What if I was to say to you that we had options today? There's just two names. We have Brian Hill and Tanguy and Ndombele, and they weren't used. So let me ask you, and I appreciate what you're saying. We do need to gel as a team and push players on. Why weren't those two players used today? When you're a goal down, when you're 2 goals down, why don't you change things up and go, we need a goal? Why weren't they used?
I've already answered that question, though, Darren. I said already, if you put on Dembele or Gil in the team, you're at risk of losing more goals because they don't defend. That was what he was thinking. That's exactly what he was thinking. Because if he had confidence in them going into the team, right, and playing, right, they were going to defend as well. Because that's what Nuno wants. He wants people that are going to work hard, run for the team as well. If they're not going to do that, he's not going to put them in. And that's it. So that is the reason why they didn't play. He didn't play them today.
But you've got to get a goal.
Especially after 10 men, he's saying, I can't risk it. Because if I risk putting them in, right, and putting them in, and then
But you've
Crystal
got to
Palace
get
come forward, they're
you've
going
got
to
to
score more goals.
But you've got to get a goal. You've got to get a goal at least.
Yeah,
To,
but you might
you've
let
got to
in
get
you might
a
let in 4
goal.
goals, you might let in 5 goals, you might let in 6 goals.
Alex,
That's
are
what
you
I'm making.
saying? Are you saying you're happy watching that football, and you're happy with that team
No, I'm
selection?
not happy watching that football, Chris.
We
That's
lost
not what I'm saying.
Alex, we lost 3-0.
Yeah, but I'm not happy watching that football. I'm not saying I'm not happy watching that football, but I'm saying the logic of what he was thinking, and we all want Ndombele to do well. We all do want him to do well, and Gil want to do well as well. But the fact is, they are not ready to go in a team which are down to 10 men, and they've got to fight back as well as attack as well. Okay, so that was the conundrum that he had. So he's had the conundrum of saying, do I put Gil on and then have a risk of us letting in a goal and letting more goals at the back? I can't make that risk at the moment.
Yeah, but do you think the fans would have been saying, "Oh, he shouldn't have brought Gil on. He should have brought Davies on, or somebody like that"? Because
everyone around me wanted Brian Hill on the pitch. Everybody.
Yeah, you need to. I totally disagree, Alex. I just think football's all about winning games, and I think if we was in a tournament or a cup or something like that, then perhaps you should be thinking about goal difference and not getting smashed. But we're 4 games into a season. We were 2-0 behind. We was 1-0 behind, then 2-0. You bring on, and I don't care if you're down to 10 men. You need, if you want to get back into the game, you bring on an attacking player and a more creative player. You don't think about sitting on a 2 or 3-0 loss. It just doesn't compute with me. It's not the Tottenham way either. Let's face it, and it doesn't knit into this free-flowing attacking football that we've been. I know the game changed after Tanganga went off as well. I get that, but you got to show a bit of desire to get back into the game by your selections for your substitutes. And for me, you got it wrong today.
You just said something there that just, oh my gosh! You just said the Tottenham way. Has the Tottenham way won us anything this recently, Craig? Has it won us anything? Has it won us anything?
Have we had
anything?
Alex, have we had a manager that's playing free-flowing attacking football? All right, I'll give you Poch, right? And we got very close. But we got closer playing free-flowing attacking football than we did under Mourinho.
Oh yeah, but the
Am I right?
is, but we're going to the past now. We can't really go on about Mourinho now because that was the past, and unfortunately we messed up. Okay, you should never have been here, but we're not going to go there because that's another time, another realm. What I'm saying is, has the Tottenham way won us anything? You see what I'm saying? And I can see
you are talking about the past. You are talking about the past there.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying it hasn't won anything, hasn't it? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say to you. You can see exactly what he's trying to do. You can say that we want free-flowing football, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen like that straight away because unfortunately, the time frame that he had in pre-season to now hasn't been a lot. He's done fantastically well for the last how many games as well. He's brought the team together. At least now they're all talking to each other, fighting for each other now. We weren't doing that after Mourinho left because we were all over the place, weren't we? We didn't get on with each other and it was all infighting. At least we're all doing that at the moment. And that's what I was seeing against Crystal Palace. At least we were doing that. At least we're doing that at the moment. And I'm sorry, I don't agree with what you're saying because it was going to take time. It was going to take a lot of time, unfortunately. And like I said, this is the realm of what we're going to see. I'm a bit concerned about next week because against Chelsea because they're very, very tight, and you've got to say they're very, very impressive defensively because you saw them against Liverpool, and they had 10 men.
You said you were pleased with the performance today. So if you're pleased with today's performance, what are you worried about Chelsea for next week? I honestly don't get a lot of your views, Alex. Explain because we won 3 out of 3. You were very negative about us winning 3 out of 3.
Negative.
We've then lost 3-0 today, and you seem to be very positive.
No, I wasn't negative at all, Chris, and that was not true at all. What I was saying is, I'm trying to say to you, okay, what I saw today. Yes, it's not a great result. Okay, but there were certain things that were good in terms of they were fighting for each other and defensively they were not that bad. right? Especially after the sending off, they were fighting for each other, and I didn't think they were going to score Crystal Palace.
But in fairness, Alex, in fairness, Darren, Craig, and I have spoken a lot on this video about us attacking, about scoring goals to win football matches. Defensively, I'm not talking about defensively today. Yes, we conceded a penalty, and of course, Tanganga got sent off. You know, we're down to 10 men. It's going to be very, very hard. But when you're chasing a game and you want to get either a draw or a win in a game, you need to score a goal. So our point, Darren, Craig, and I, our point is Nuno should have made changes, attacking changes. Do you agree?
No. Well, yes or no. That's like I said. I've explained that already. Why they didn't bring on Ndombele and Gil. I told you that already. I've said because he was worried about defensively, because if he does put on Gil, are they going to defend back as well? As well as attacking, are they going to defend back? No, they're not. Ndombele, is he going to defend back? No. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, really. So I don't know what to say, really. So I don't know what to say. What
Darren,
are you not doing? What are you two doing?
Darren, tell
Honestly,
me what you're thinking.
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I think Craig hit the nail on the head when he said, "Are we happy just to sit on a 2-0 defeat?"
Exactly.
I think that was a wonderfully put, Craig, because what Alex is saying is that we didn't play. And listen, this isn't the fucking the Let's Get At Alex show. It's not, because I love you like a brother.
Can I be on that show?
I mean, no.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
No,
Alex,
I'm fine. I'm fine, man.
Alex, I've known you for 57 minutes, and I love you like a brother. I really do. I think we've got a lot in common. You know, we're wonderful player, wonderful human being. But I think that Craig said it best. That are we happy to sit on a 2-0 defeat, not go 2 goals up and then shut up shop, and I think that's where we're all slightly curious as to what you're saying, is that why would you be happy with just sitting back when you're 1 goal and then 2 goals? And again, I'm sorry to repeat myself, there's got to be a point where you've got to say we need a goal, in only if only just to give us a chance of drawing the bloody game, let alone winning it, just coming out with a point. Because if and at one point I had my phone in my hand, and I'm glad I didn't do it because I'd have made an arsehole of myself. I was just about to tweet, if we nick this with I think it was 75 minutes, if we nick this with a goal, I'm gonna jump for joy or something, and we didn't, clearly.
Darren, I'm not saying it was not. I just need to make this clear. I'm not happy that the fact that we weren't attacking. No, but I understand why he didn't make those substitutions. I understand his logic of what he was trying to do.
I don't understand that. You need to talk to me like I'm an idiot, because I don't understand why you're defending a decision to not make any decisions, to not make
not make a decision of playing Nuno.
If we're 2-0 down in games, Alex, you can't expect Nuno just to say, okay, well, we won't attack, we'll just sit on a 2-0 defeat.
No, he didn't think. No, the players that he thought was on the pitch at the time, he thought those players were going to be good enough to try and get a goal back. That's what he thought. Okay, but he couldn't risk putting on Ndombele and Gil, because he thought that if they come on, yes, attacking wise, they've got something going forward, but defensively wise, you're at a loss.
But we're 2-0 down, Alex. We're 2-0. By the way, Crocodile Docs. He's spending his fucking beer money on this. So, by the way, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, if you're 2-0 down, what difference does it make if you're 6-0 down? Some goal difference. Absolutely. I don't understand it. I don't understand.
What makes it worse?
Well, Alex, there are a few people agreeing with you in the stream here. One is on screen. I feel the fans act a bit too entitled with style of play. We don't have the players to do this right now. People forget that our centre-backs were protected with the DMs in the past 3 games. Now, do you think that our defence have played well in the previous 3 games up until this point, or is it all about the likes of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Oliver Skip?
Well, is that a question to me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that we've been like a team. That's the whole point. We've been like a team. The whole midfield, and the strikers and the defense have been as a team, trying to attack as a team and defend as a team, and that's why it's worked. And they're all fighting for each other, pressing as well, which has been very, very important. The fitness has been improved as well, which you can see on the pitch. It has been improved. So that's why I'm saying that, to an extent, the midfield has protected the defence, but also the fact that the defence has been very good in terms of you have Dyer as a leader, as a left-footed defender as well, and you've got Sanchez who needs a little bit leading as well, and then you've had Tanganga on the right-hand side, Reguilon, who I wasn't impressed with the first 3 games, but as he's got better because defensively he looked very good today. Okay, but it's just those 3 have really, really. I think all of those things have helped the defense, yes, but to answer your question, the midfield has helped a lot to improve that defense as well, because Skip and Højbjerg have been absolutely fantastic, haven't they? So just to answer your question, yes.
Craig, let's come to you. Now, Craig writes on screen, it's such a shame that we're all negative and blaming Nuno Espirito Santo, but as a fan base, we're all damaged. It's like we've been in a loveless marriage for so many years. We don't trust any new processes. Are you trusting this process? I know there's going to be ups and downs during this transitional period. What are you actually expecting out of this season? Are you expecting quite a few days like today?
Yeah, absolutely. We all knew we weren't going to go through the season winning 38 games. We're not that deluded. But I think the fact Alex perhaps got so much stick, I think he was probably at the wrong end or too far down the other end of the spectrum, was that we was just trying to enjoy the fact being top of the Premier League and winning the first 3 games. I think that's what it was. And I know Alex was trying to bring us all down to earth a bit, but it was just the fact of celebrating it, because we know we're not going to be there for the rest of the season. That was for sure, because we are going to get games like today. And, things have conspired against us to some degree with everything we've had to deal with this week as a club. With the Argentinian contingent being stuck in Croatia, with the injury to Son, with the injury to Bergwijn, and all the other issues we've had to deal with. So I get that I wouldn't even say he was down to the bare bones today. They're Premiership players. They're good enough to play for Spurs, apparently, so they should be able to do a job on the pitch, and they should have certainly been good enough to beat Crystal Palace today, or at least have a bit more attacking threat today. But we are going to get days like this throughout the season. They will know it was bad today, and I would hope that they work on stuff in the week, because it's going to be a very different test again next weekend.
Alex, let's come to you. Dan writes on screen now. Left wing non-existent. Needed Hill to exploit that area and to make interceptions. Zaha sussed that and switched to the right for the goal that he set up. Now, Zaha, so frustrating. 12 games before today, he plays against Spurs. Not 1 assist, not 1 goal.
Yeah, he had Emerson on toast today. He spun him so many times, and I felt sorry for Emerson today. I think that's why you don't really want to put a player in like that so early in his tenure, in his debut, really. I do agree with the super chat about the wingers. It was no width in the team because it was very very in the middle a lot of the time. I don't know how to say it better, but it was very much the player was in the middle and very stagnated, I felt. So I do understand the criticism. I'm not defending the whole thing about creativeness, because, like I said, I think I'm repeating myself again, but the creative side was a problem. So I'm not saying that, I'm not being deluded and saying that we haven't got a creative problem in the team. It's clear we have got a creative problem in the team, and we haven't got a width problem as well. But I think he is trying to figure all that out. I think that's why he wanted to get Adán Traoré as well by him, which again I didn't agree with in that sense. I did not agree with at all, because I don't rate him as a player. That's just my opinion. So I do understand where people gripes are with the team as well. But Zaha, you know, I think sometimes he got lucky today not getting sent off. I've got to be honest. But yeah, you know, I think he did cause us a lot of problems today. He did. And
Actually, I'd like to talk about that. Darren, let's come to you. Now, the incident between Tanganga and Zaha, what did you make of it? Yellow card, was that a right decision for both of them?
Oh, God, massively. I mean, on the replay, like Tanganga, I think he was frustrated that Mora went down and the ball wasn't kicked out. And if you looked at what he did, he literally pushed him by the throat. I mean, it's, you know, that should have been a red card, you know, there's no argument about that. And then within 5 minutes, he did a rash challenge, which is a yellow card. 2 yellows make a red. You know, what do points make? Prizes. So I don't think there's any argument about that, Chris. Absolutely. Can I just I was just gathering my thoughts just then, and I was just thinking and about the setup today. As I said before, we had Mora, Kane, and Dele all playing quite flat. What would have happened if let's look at Alex's theory that maybe that we didn't need to make that many substitutions? What would have happened if Nuno, and again this is just me speculating, if we would have pushed Harry up front as a lone striker and told Dele and Moura just to feed balls into him, would that have made a difference, do you think? Because I think we were quite flat today, and I think that the stats say that Harry was barely in their box and had like a touch in their box. What happened if he would have just kept the same formation but said to Harry, no, you're a lone striker and it's up to Dele and Moura just to ping balls in to him? Would that have made a difference today?
Do you know, we just didn't get enough crosses in today, and I don't know what you guys think about Emerson Royale's performance today, but I thought it was pretty poor. I know it's his debut, and I know he's going to take a little while to adapt to the Premier League, but there were a number of opportunities where he could have put crosses in and perhaps took on the player. He just chose every single time to go backwards, which was really frustrating for me. But you know, I can't believe I'm saying this either. Serge Aurier used to put a lot of crosses in. You know, you need crosses from fullbacks. We just didn't get crosses in today. And as I say, Harry Kane had very, very little or, you know, non-existent service today.
Chris, I've got to say though, I've got to say, sorry to interrupt you, Darren, that you made some very good points about Kane, that you need to put him up front. I don't like him coming back and trying to play in that midfield role, because I think we really do rely on him a lot doing that sort of creative role sometimes.
It works with Son. It works with Son when they.
Yeah, but I think we need to learn, because in my opinion, I think he will leave at the end of the season. So I think it's a case of trying to fade him out. Someone made the point about Danny Ings. Fantastic point. I wish we did buy him. That was a snip at 25 million. I think we missed out big time on him. But yeah, I do agree with the whole thing with him being up front. There wasn't enough crosses in. We didn't make the pitch big enough. I do agree with people about that as well. And that was a good point, that maybe Gil could play in that role where Ali was, or Gil could have played in the Moira role maybe, or Ndombele could have played on the right maybe. That would have made sense more for me, because he got a little bit more creativeness there. Because that's what we're lacking so much, really, for me. And yeah, that was it, really, for me. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
Darren, let's come back to you. Now, straight after the game, Oliver Skip come out and said, we can't get 2 down. We've had a good start with these 3 wins, but we'll definitely take the lessons from today, and we'll be looking to put it right on Thursday. Of course, Spurs take on Rennes in the Europa Conference League first group stage game. And then, of course, we've got Chelsea on Sunday. After today's result and today's performance, how are you feeling ahead of these next 2 games?
Well, I mean, Rennes, you can stick anyone in there, you know. I mean, I'm a little bit not done with it, but I'm a little bit ambivalent, shall we say, towards that. You know, I think just give people a run out. He can do what he wants, you know, with that. I just think that my focus as a fan really is on the Premier League, and I think that I think that we need all guns, and I think today showed us that we need all guns blazing and a proper mentality in order to beat these teams now. And I think that I think that we're going to get Sanchez, Lo Celso, and Emerson back for thank you, Chris. Romero back on Friday, because Nuno said the day before the Chelsea. So excuse me, Saturday. So once we get them all back, hopefully they'll all be ready to go. Touchwood, Sonny, and Bergwijn will be ready to go, and I just think we go all guns blazing for that Chelsea game. Ren, I'm a little bit ambivalent. You know, he can put out what team he wants to play with them, but I think that Chelsea, we need to put this behind us today and absolutely come out all guns blazing on Sunday. Sunday's going to be the one for me. Really is.
As far as team selection goes there, you mentioned that those players will be back on the Saturday. We've got the game on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Been heavily reported that Tottenham are very unhappy about them going off to international duty, and the players might even be fined. Does Nuno Espirito Santo use those players for the Sunday game?
Oh, you go out all guns blazing, like, you know, all that COVID, whatever happened. You don't penalise anyone. No. We've got these are must-win games. You know, at the risk of sounding like a cliche, you know, they're all must-win games in the Premiership. They are, and
we're in September, and they're already a must-win.
Well, of course they are, and because it's Chelsea, you know, it's like yeah, you know, there's Arsenal and there's Chelsea. You've got to beat these. You've got to beat these, and at home, I'll be there. I've got my ticket, and you've absolutely got to. These are games that not only are they 3 points, but they kick you on mentally. You know, if Alex is right, and we're saying that we were lucky with, apart from the Man City, that we were lucky with Wolves and Watford, then these you know, your Chelsea's, home or away, you know, they are absolutely vital for the team spirit and to kick on. That's my focus. Ren, I'm a little bit, you know, whatever you can, you know, give you a run around, Chris. But Chelsea, you know, you need to win that. That's 3 points. Did that answer your question? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Last time Alex was on, Darren, Alex said that he thought that Tottenham would finish 10th in the Premier League this season. What are you going with?
I don't love him like a brother. I think he's got a lot of issues. Listen, I mean, for me, you know, it's all about top four and Champions League. You know, I mean, this Europa Conference. I mean, come on, you know, I mean, Europa League. You know, again, you know, it's all about top four. You know, I think for a team like Tottenham, you know, I mean, Arsenal, forget them. They're, you know, they can languish. But I think that if we can compete with your Liverpool, your Man Cities, your Chelseas, and your Uniteds, and if we can get top four, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. I don't take 10th. I don't take 6th. I don't take 5th. It's got to be top four. It's otherwise. Where are we? We're not a big club, and as much as, you know, we like to talk about the past and the glory days, and Tottenham are a big club, fundamentally speaking, if we're outside that Champions League spot, we're not a big club. We're there or thereabouts.
Craig, let's come to you. I couldn't agree more with Darren about us trying to get back into that top four spot. But is it realistic? You know, you take the likes of Heung-min Son out of the team. We've seen what happens today. You know, you take Harry Kane out of the team, you know, a sudden injury to him, or you take another few players out of the team through injuries. We haven't got the strength in depth, have we? We could really struggle.
Yeah, no, you're right, and it's proved that today. And you do think that perhaps Nuno knew that today and was just trying to somehow get through the game and hopefully nick a goal, but perhaps settle for a 0-0. If I'm honest, by looking at that lineup today, perhaps that's what he thought, because everything about the teams he's been putting out the first 3 games was disrupted. So that could have been his thoughts. I don't know. I really don't know. But is top 4 achievable? Yes, of course it is. But have we got the squad, like you say? I don't think we have at the moment, to be honest, sadly. I mean, I want to be upbeat and everything and say, yeah, we're going to make top 4. Is our squad now better than it was when we finished 3rd and 2nd? Just throwing it out there. Ask yourself that question. Is our team is our squad any better?
Well, Craig, are you disappointed from today, or are you just like, oh well, we've been here so many times, it's just like the same old feeling?
You know, there's a mixture of both, Chris, to be honest. I was obviously disappointed, very disappointed, but it's that old feeling. It's like I said to you before, didn't I, when we lost the Euros in the final? I was very disappointed we lost that, but I was kind of over it within 24 hours because as a Tottenham fan, you're so used to failure and being let down. It's kind of in you, isn't it? You're kind of used to it. And perhaps that's the wrong way to be. It definitely is the wrong way to be, but that's just fact. You know, you get let down enough, you begin to expect it. And perhaps there's the mentality change that the players have got as well that's needed. I don't know. But let's not get too carried away either way here, because it is one game today. Yeah, we lost, and we lost badly. But that's football, you know. We bounce back next week against Chelsea. We try and put it right. And, you know, we've got Arsenal coming up. If we win the next 2 league games, everything's going to be forgotten. You're not going to think, oh, God, if we'd only beaten Palace. So you've got the opportunity in football to put it right within 7 days. You've got the opportunity to put right what went wrong last week. No team has ever won the Premier League winning every single game, or finishing in the top 4, winning every single game. You know, it's not going to happen as much as we want it to. So let's not get too down. Just trying to put a bit of positivity back into the chat tonight.
I was talking with a friend, Craig, just before in the pub, and I forgot where United finished last season.
Second.
All right, there you go. And there we go. And they won 8 home games. It just shows you know, the shit can hit the fan, and you can have a bloody good run. You know,
I don't think we will have a Premier League season like we did last season. I think the quality will be so much better this year.
Yeah, because of the crowds. Because of the crowds back in. I think it turns up the miles per hour a couple, doesn't it, with any game? Can G the players on when we're, especially when you're at home and you're behind. I mean, we haven't had that actually yet, have we? So it's be interesting to see how the fans react. But you know, let's not get too down. I think you know, we just put this behind us. I mean, what else can you do? You're either sitting around and mope about it and say, oh, this needs changing, that needs changing. We know what the squad we've got now till January, and we just have to go with it, or Nuno has to go with it, you know, and that's it. Put it behind us, on to the next one. Ren in the week, like you said, Darren, I want to win every game Tottenham take part in. But I think that should be an easy win. I don't think it matters what squad he takes over there. We should be beating them. And I think the big one is Chelsea. I think you'll know that. I think you'll hope. Does anybody know, by the way, the extent of Son and Bergwijn's injuries and any other?
There's a lot of rumours going around that he will be missing the Chelsea game, but obviously we can all hope and pray that he makes it back. But what I was going to ask you guys is, if Heung-min Son does miss the Chelsea game, how would you like to see Nuno Espirito Santo set up in that Chelsea match?
I mean, if he's not playing, there's got to be an out ball. There's got to be, you know, if he sets up pretty similar today. Today, then there's got to be some more of a forward-thinking ethos. I mean, I'm not going to start picking players at this, you know, but there's got to be that mentality where you've got to get more balls forward. You've got to change something if he's not playing.
Brian Hill, then.
Brian Hill, or like I say, push Harry more up front and say you can't drop deep. You know, because if you're dropping deep and Dele's dropping deep to try and do a more defensive role, and Lucas likes to come deep and bomb forward with his runs, then where's your focal point? You know, so God forbid if sound like a rabbi then. God forbid if Tom's not with us. for the Chelsea game, then there's got to be some forward momentum, isn't there? There's got to be. Otherwise, we're in the same space as we were today, where everything's just flat and there's nothing, there's no movement.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needs to, and I don't think he'll do this, by the way, but I think he needs to certainly show a much more attacking intent. I think I don't be surprised to still see a bit more defensive. And I get that Chelsea are a strong team. They'll have looked at them and see where the threats come from. But I think he'll be skipping Højbjerg in the middle still. But it will be interesting to see. I don't think Son will play. Well, it doesn't sound like he's going to play, Chris, from what you said there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Dele Alli, Moura and Kane. And I think it could do worse than throw in Hill or even Ndombele if he trains well in the week. But certainly that back four is going to be interesting to see what he does, because we're going to be without Tanganga now. So he looks like Emerson's going to have to play, because it doesn't look like he fancies Doherty.
Yeah. Alex, let's come to you. Now, of course, our next two Premier League games, Chelsea and Arsenal, it doesn't matter when, what month they're being played in. It doesn't matter where the teams are in the league. We all want to win these games. Very, very important games. How confident are you for both of these London derbies?
I'll be confident in the Arsenal game. The Chelsea game, I think if we get a draw, that's a good result, as far as I'm concerned. I think he's going to play a very defensive team, because unfortunately with Chelsea, they're very good. They've got a very good structure, Chelsea, whether you like it or not, because I can't stand them. I cannot stand them for love nor money. And it's hard for me to even say this, but they've got a very good team that are structured very, very well, defensively and attacking wise as well. And Tuchel can just eat up Tottenham. Well, maybe that's not the way to say it. They can play Tottenham he can do tactics. I'm going to change what I said there, because I think saying that what I said before wasn't right. But he can tactically outmaneuver Nuno very, very easily with some of the plays he's got and the systems he's got as well, and the plays he's got as well. So I think it's going to be very risky to put on a Gil or Ndombele if they're not going to be doing the defensive work against Chelsea. Yes, attacking wise, we might try and hurt them, but this is a team that played against Chelsea, that played against Liverpool, 10 men for all the second half, and Liverpool did nothing against them that second half. So that's where, and this is away from home as well. So this is where I'm saying that it's going to be a very difficult game, and if you get a draw out the game, that's a good result.
By the way, Alex, they've just beaten Villa 3-0. Just looking.
Yeah.
Well, and Villa are supposedly a good team. You see what I'm saying? So, Arsenal, I think we're both in similar positions. I think we're better than them. I think we're in a better position than them at the moment. I actually now think that Arsenal are really worrying in terms of, being bottom half, relegation, flirting relegation maybe. So you'd say there's a good chance of us, this is a very good chance to beat them. But again, it's a derby, so you don't know really what's going to happen. Everyone's up for it and stuff like that, and it's kind of just like you just want to just win the game, and that's it. It's bragging rights, like they say. Again, I'm still going to say the same thing. It's one step at a time. Even if we win the game, it's still one. It's just another game at the end of the day, and we have to move on to the next one, and that's it. You see what I'm saying? So. I think we've got more chance of winning the Arsenal game than the Chelsea game, just to answer your question. That's it, really.
Alex, just want to go back to you on that. When you said that you think Nuno will go defensive against Chelsea at home, you think that he will play Højbjerg, Skip and Winks again?
I think he's got no choice, unfortunately, hasn't he? If you think about it, if maybe...
At home,
Ali, you may put Ali in Winks' position, and maybe put an attacking player on one of the wings. I would say, to answer your question, but the point that Nuno will think is thinking, okay, you're playing on the wing, but what's going to be happening behind you? You see what I'm saying? So he's going to think, well, yeah, I'm going to play attacking with this player, but if he's not going to defend for me, I've lost somebody defensively. That's going to be the crucial thing about Chelsea. You see what I'm saying? They'll exploit that.
Let me ask you a question, Alex. At what point do you not want to keep on shutting up shop? And on what point or what teams are we playing, in your opinion, where you actually think, no, fuck it, we will throw caution to the wind and we will go out and out? Like, what's your criteria for that? Because you seem to be like the whole defensive mindset. That's not a criticism. I'm genuinely asking you. At what point do you?
I don't think there's any game at the moment, because I think we're going through a process, and I don't like saying that word, but I think we are going through this process of trying to build
up. Say process again. Sorry.
Yeah. It's build. I don't like the word. I can't stand it. But
yeah,
it is because of what the mess that we were in the part of last season. Okay. With Mourinho leaving, then have Mason in charge. Yes, I think I don't mind Winks, by the way, mate, David. So yeah, sorry, mate, but you know, I don't play FIFA like some Tottenham fans do. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. It's all fun and games. Like I said, it's a process, because it was such a mess, and he's done well to gather us all together. And now it's just trying to get used to a system, all getting used to each other, getting used to different systems, fitting everybody in, making sure it's all fluid and everything else. And that was not going to be all in pre-season, because it was so short for Nuno, because he was handed the job so short, you know what I mean, during pre-season. So he's going to have to do this during the first part of the season, maybe even second part of the season. That's why I'm saying it's going to be up and down. You see,
Alex,
and I'm not going to repeat what I said, my expectations already, because you know my expectations already, because I've already said it already.
Alex.
The reason why, you know why, because we're not going to get the points enough to get into top four. So that's it.
Alex, just going back on what you said there about Winks, do you think then, against Chelsea, our best chance of getting anything out of the game is playing Højbjerg, Skip and Winks in this middle of the park, taking into account the players we're going to have back and available? Is that the three you'd go with against Chelsea?
No, I would say if you put Ali there where Winks is, Winks will be on the bench, I would say, because unfortunately Ndombele is just not going to do it for me at the moment. If you get Lo Celso back, maybe play him, but I do feel that it depends on what their fitness is like coming back. That's important, because you don't want someone that's not, you know, they've got to be able to press. That's the most important thing. If you don't press, you can't play against Chelsea, because if you're not all for it, if you're not all in, it's going to be a negative against Chelsea, definitely, because they'll be all in as Chelsea players, and that's what will be the difference to getting a draw or unlikelihood of getting a win. So I think play Ali there, because I think he'll have a lot of energy, and he'll be an attacking threat as well. And then it's really a question who you're going to play on the wing, and that's it. So I would say if Bergwijn was fit, again, if he's fully fit and he's able to run, I'll play Bergwijn, because he will do the defensive work as well. I wouldn't risk Ndombele in that game. I wouldn't risk him, unfortunately. I think if he doesn't do his defensive work, they'll exploit that. They will exploit that like it's no tomorrow, Chelsea. They'll just, run rings round him and just use it to their advantage. So, and they'll do it the same with Gil as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, but regardless if you have Højbjerg and Skip as holding, so you've got that extra cover.
Yeah, but I think, unfortunately, you can't just rely on them two anyway, because when they're occupying certain places...
Maybe if we were to call up the whole of the fucking British Army and just put them in front of it.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, in Neverland, yeah, maybe, but unfortunately not. No, unfortunately, it doesn't really work like that.
Can we call up the Grenadier Guards? Can we call up the Grenadier Guard? No, we can't. Apparently, we can't do that. So,
what would Boris say about that, Darren?
He would probably say, "My citizens, I give you a license to call up even Bergwijn, Casudat, Mores." Yes, I mean,
Actually, Darren, what do you think David Attenborough would have made of today's match?
And now we resort to getting Darren to do his impressions as the viewers have depleted within the last 90 minutes. Listen, I don't like being used as a performing monkey on your, hey, big boy, young man, hey, the lamb was cooked and seasoned fucking raw. Yes, big boy. I don't like this. It's like I'm a performing seal, Chris, and I'm not going to resort to that.
I wouldn't either, Darren, honestly.
No, I completely understand. Well, Tottenham are now down to 5th in the Premier League. I know it's only 4 games in, but we've won 3, we've lost 1, got a goal difference now of 0, have 9 points behind Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City and Brighton. Now in the top 4. Last question for you all. Darren, we'll start with you. Score predictions for Thursday's game in the Europa Conference League and the Chelsea game as well.
Oh, I mean, Rennes, let's just say a win. Hopefully we'll beat them, no matter what squad he puts out, we can beat them. So a win. Chelsea, I don't know. If we can nick a goal, if we can be 2-1, 2-0, I don't. We just. I hate being asked those sort of questions because it's sort of hypothetical. It's pie in the sky. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to beat Chelsea. If we've got our players back, and if he doesn't play Højbjerg, Winks, and Skip, then we've got a chance. We really need to take a lesson from today and analyze it and move forward. And he needs to work out what didn't go right and correct it and verify it. And hopefully, I see no reason that we can't beat Chelsea. I mean, it's that old cliche, isn't it? I mean, the atmosphere against City was unbelievable. It was almost spiritual at the end of the game. We were hugging people around us. I was apologizing because I was grabbing and hugging them. Sorry, mate, sorry. If we can get that atmosphere against Chelsea and do a number on them, come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, do you know what? That Chelsea game is just a must win. We have to win it. I don't care what the score will be. 4-3, 6-4, whatever. Don't care what the score is, as long as we get the 3 points against them. Craig, what about you?
Yeah, very much so. I don't agree with Darren. Sorry, I don't know much about Rennes. It's 3-0 Tottenham. Let's go 3-0 Tottenham. Joe Biden. Chelsea. I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1. I think Chelsea are going to come into it a bit arrogant, like they normally are. Usually good against us, aren't they? And for me, they're up there with Manchester City challenging for the title this year. If I'm honest, hate to say that because I can't stand Chelsea. But going back to what you said, Chris, earlier, what did worry me, concern me today, it was kind of getting back to the Mourinho era today. It was like, if you didn't see Nuno in the dugout, you could have almost seen Jose in the dugout. So we don't want to see that again. So I like the mix a little bit to a certain extent between Poch and Mourinho, that Nuno's this blend of the two. Rather see him edging towards Poch, if I'm honest. But there you go. Let's just hope today was a one-off because of circumstances and personnel issues we've had. See our players recover during the week, and let's hope we can get Sonny back in the team, because I think it proved today, not having a runner in behind Kane. Kane looked a bit lost today. So let's hope Sonny can be fit and well and running in behind, because I think that's what we're going to need against Chelsea. We cannot defend for 90 minutes against Chelsea like we did against City again and hope for something out of that game, because I think Lukaku will tear us a new one if that happens.
Alex, what score predictions you going with?
Ren, I'm positive about, because I think we got a very good chance of trying to get win this competition, and I think we should focus on trying to win this competition as well. Get the cup thing off our back. I say 2-0, at a push 3-0, or 3-1 against Ren. I agree with Craig. 1-1, I think, will be the result, or a 0-0. But yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength as Craig. That is, if we get a 1-1, I think that's a very respectable result, I would say. And yeah, just hopefully we carry on. And I think we just got to just keep on, just keep going. That's it, really. It's going to be ups and downs, and that's it.
Can I ask you, Alex? Is it a process?
Yeah, I hate it saying that, Darren. I hate saying that. I don't even want to say it.
No,
I want to say also, because there was something else that Craig said as well, about Nuno, worrying about him being Mourinho. He's not Mourinho. He's definitely not Mourinho. He's I would say he's very direct. He does get the best out of players from what I'm seeing. There's certain things that Poch did, and I don't want to keep on harping about him. It's not that I don't recognise it, because I loved him as a manager of Tottenham. But I think we have to move on from the whole thing with Poch, unfortunately, because he's moved on to pastures new, and I think he's going to do very well in the future with other clubs. So, yeah, I think Nuno's definitely someone that's going to work with the players. He's very direct, from what I've heard. And also, he tells them what he wants from them, so everybody understands what they want. And I think the players know that it's going to be a very hard season as well. So yeah, it's just really just keeping on going, I think. And I don't think we should. I think we just need to just be realistic about Tottenham. Unfortunately, we all want us to win the league. No one doesn't want to not us win the league. We do want to win the league one day, but history tells you, we haven't done that, haven't we? In the last how many years now?
60.
60 years. So, we have to be realistic. We're not even better than Leicester City, which I keep on mentioning the name, but that just sums it all up, doesn't it? Really, and they're supposed to be fifth. So where are we supposed to be? Top four? Well, I'm not going to explain it again why we're not top four, because I've already explained it already. So that's it, really. So, yeah.
Darren, can I just ask you a last question? Joseph writes here, no chance that Spurs are going to beat Rennes in France. A couple of the other comments said that we might lose this game like we did, the game in Pacos de Ferreira. I think a lot of Spurs fans probably think that these games are going to be quite easy in the Europa Conference League. The way that you spoke earlier, it was like you think that this is going to be an easy route through to the past the group stages. Was I right in thinking that?
I mean, to be honest, I've got to hold my hands up. I don't really know anything about Rennes. Where do they sit? I mean, I should have kept my mouth shut. Where do you know?
Do you know what we've probably got three of the hardest teams in our group that we could have drawn, and it's just going to be interesting. And what's your take on the competition? Would you rather be out of this competition or rather go and win it? Because Alex said that he would like to go and win it. Me personally, I would love Spurs to take this kind of seriously and go on to win it.
I mean,
but it's sort of 50-50. The people who come on this show, some people want to go for it, some people just couldn't care less about it.
I mean, listen, if you're in a competition, you want, as a fan of a club, you want to win every game and you want to win the competition. But I mean, realistically, it's not the Champions League, it's not the Europa League. And a lot of people frown on the Europa League. They call that the Mickey Mouse competition of Europe. So if this is a notch down from the Europa League and it's called even the name, the Europa Conference League, it's just like, so listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I think that we're going to walk all over it and win. And nor am I saying that, I'm sort of contradicting myself, nor am I saying that, it holds no value, because of course, if you're in a competition, you want to win it. But I mean, I just think that, you know, with the stature that Tottenham are, you know, in terms of the training ground and all the facilities and the players and everything that we've got, surely if we can't perform in this league, then we've really got our renovate. Thank you, the Sussex Hotspur. Thank you. So there you go. So if we can't beat a team higher in France than Spurs, oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, I'm going to bed. I mean, at the end of the day, Chris, if we can't beat someone, you know, like Rennes who finished 8th, you know, then where does that put us in the sort of benchmark in Europe? Where does that, what, you know, we're really not as good as we think we are we? If we can't beat this lot, and if
I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
Are you? There you go. The voice of reason. There you go.
1-1 draw in France and a 1-1 draw against Chelsea. There you go. I'm going to sit on the fence on these two.
There you go. Tottenham draw Spur. Wonderful.
Are you actually? Are you going to the game, Chris? Are you going to the game?
I am.
Oh, well done, man.
It's going to be a
lucky
long
guy.
A long old trip, especially after today.
My God.
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying though. Like it gets to a point where you have to ask yourself, well, where are we in the grand scheme of things? And if we're saying, you know, that we can't beat Rennes and we can't do well in the Europa Conference League, then you know, then there comes to a point where you go, well, bloody hell, how good are Tottenham? Really? Don't you think?
It's all, for me, Darren, it's all about progression this season. You know, and I've said this many, many times on this channel, you know, 2 years ago in the Champions League final, last year Europa League football, and now you've just said the Europa Conference League football, which people go, oh, Conference League, you know, even the sound of it. But, you know, I just think about trophies a lot. And when you think 13 years without a trophy, it is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous stat. It really is. And I just think that whatever competition that Spurs are in, I just want us to go and take it as seriously as we can and try and win it. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see also what we do in the League Cup and the FA Cup, whether we put stronger teams out than we have done under previous managers in these competitions, because is the main focus on finishing in the top 4. You know, a lot of people will say the main focus must be on the top 4. We must get Champions League football, which I do agree, but I also want trophies as well. And you know, the other big question, which we haven't really spoke about this evening, is did we do enough in the transfer window to have enough strength in depth when players do get out injured? I think we've kind of answered that in an indirect way with players like Heung-min Son being out.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
You go on, Craig.
Just going back to the Conference League, Chris, I think they're going to take it semi-seriously. I think if we get through the group, that's when you'll see perhaps stronger teams entering, because then you're in the knockout phases. So I think much like we've treated the Europa League in the past, I think that's what they'll be doing. You know, they'll putting players in, certainly the away legs, if you like, just to perhaps try and get nick a win if we can. I mean, I know I said 3-0, but that's purely because I've known nothing about Rennes at all. But they might be looking, if we can nick a goal, great. We take, you know, we got to get the game done, but we'll take a draw. So, but I think they'll be putting, say, under strength. This might be doing down the competition, but let's face it, it's the third tier European competition. Under strength squads to the away games, and then taking it a bit more seriously should we get through the group. But like you, I would love to see us take the domestic cups seriously, very seriously this year, because beggars can't be choosers. Yeah.
Well, Craig, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
No worries, always a pleasure, Chris.
Alex, thank you very much as always.
Thanks, Chris. I just wanted to say to the people, just leave off Emerson. You know, it's debut today. I've seen some of the comments, and like I'm just saying, just leave off him. It's his debut, for goodness sake. Just give him a break. You know what I mean? So he'll come good in the future, but it's gonna take time. It will take time. But
I agree with that.
And Darren, thanks so much for joining us this evening, and tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Darren Altman, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and I upload lots of impressions, some good, some not so good, and lots of voiceover stuff. And so, yeah, thank you. I didn't do my Glenn Hoddle today. We'll do that next time. But thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Well, what about an impression of either Alex or Craig? Could you do that?
I'll do that.
At the end of the day, it's a process, and you know, I mean, it's a process, and trust the process. It's a process, and while you're trusting the process, just trust the process, because what you have to understand is a process, and lay off the process, because I see a lot of people wondering about the process on social media, and they don't appreciate that it's a process. So at the end of the day, once we're working the process, it's a process, and I cannot stress that highly enough.
Brilliant.
Was that of me? Can I just ask? Or was that Alex?
That was Jamie Oliver, but congratulations.
No, I think it was me. Well, we will trust the process. Thank you very much, Darren, Craig, and Alex. A bad day at the office for Spurs today, but hopefully that we can put things right on Thursday in the Europa Conference League, and of course against Chelsea next Sunday. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for all of your comments. Thanks for subscribing, etc. Really appreciate your support. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.